Okay, I think we are now live. Just a moment and we will confirm that. Hello. Let's see, looking good. Okay, looking a-okay here. Nice. Groovy. And that leaves one last thing to look at. Make sure it is good. Beautiful. A-okay here. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay, cool. I believe we are now live for sure. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Anybody who is here, I'll be starting in just a second in a more official-ish way. Okay, dope. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. Looks like we've got some folks in chat. In access. Yo, I hope I got that right. And Rhode Island Hiker, what's up, man? Welcome back, Rhode Island Hiker. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. It's been a bit. And let's go ahead and grab our first bag here on this live stream. GTR0, what's going on? Good to see you again. We'll do this first bag for good old Rhode Island Hiker. It's been a bit since we've seen him since our last stream. I think I saw you last week, but I could be mistaken. Anyways, this will be for you. Once we get it all inflated here. Neat. Okay, let's do our first bag. This one's for you, dude. Rhode Island Hiker. Very nice. What it done? No coughs on that whole one. Nothing does beat the Volcano GTR0. 6 years of dutiful service, and it's as good as the day I bought it. Bless those Germans and their fine engineering. So I have also the Mighty from them, which I like quite a bit. I don't use it as much as the Volcano, but it is a very fine portable flower vape. And it's got a nice little system. I've shown it before on live streams. I don't want to have to dig it out at this exact moment, but all Stores and Bickle stuff. Top notch. Okay, well, let's get our second bag in. That first one was nice and easy. And I'm not sure if In Access is still out there, but if he is, or she, this one's for you. Waiting. GTR Zero's also got himself a Mighty. Yes, it's great. I love it a lot. It's about as good as you could ever hope for a battery-powered flower vaporizer to be. And I do love the system that they have created with the Mighty. My favorite thing actually about it is the little capsules that you can use with it. These little dosing capsules. These reusable aluminum, I think, tiny little metal capsules that you can fill up with weed. Put your weed in these little aluminum capsules that have air intakes at the top and the bottom. And it's a nice little way of not having to like scrape up a bunch of stuff and clean it out. You can just load up a bunch of capsules ahead of time. I actually have a whole fancy system with my Mighty where I can fill up like 40 capsules at once, and it's kind of a nice system because a lot of the headaches with these things is the maintenance, the cleaning. You do a 1 or 2 little chambers, and then you've got some gunk to clean out. But the little capsules help mitigate a lot of the headaches with it. It's some work ahead of time with the Mighty if you want to do the little tiny pre-dosed capsule route, but I think it's worth it. It is for me at least. Dr. SJ, welcome back. Dr. Smegma Jones says, hello, Wheats. I would be honored to be the first delicious yabba dabba do. Well, Dr. SJ, how can I say no to that? After we get this bag, we will be sure to give you our first dab of the day. And looks like we've got Coco Lee here as well. Welcome, Coco Lee. I'm not sure, Coco, if we've chatted before. If not, hello. If so, my apologies. Coco Lee, totally agree. That's fun to say. What a delightful name. Just a cheery presence every time he pops up. And it gives me an excuse to say Smegma. Which, any chance. All right. Bag number 2. Done in 8 minutes. Dr. SJ, this will be for you. We're going for the moon. Got my mini nail pre-heated here. I've got my concentrate that I forgot to refrigerate, so it's a little tacky, but should still work. And here we go. I'm not going to walk any closer to the camera because I'm lazy, but this one's for you, Dr. SJ. Thanks for hanging out. Easy peasy. Almost no coughing. Rhode Island Hiker says he grabbed some LA Kush cake for $15 an eighth today, and he got 5 of them. So he got 5/8 today. And if we do our math, $90 not bad, I'm sure, for the East Coast, and especially some, I assume, imported stuff. And he says he's going to press them into rosin with the juice box. It's a mini press. I've heard of the juice box before, Rhode Island Hiker, and I'm not sure. If, I think maybe you have even recommended it to me in the past, and I've had others suggest it too. And it is definitely on a maybe one day a list up there with the student glass, or I'm sure I'm butchering that. The very fancy gravity bong that everybody loves. I would love to get one of those at some point as well. Jesus Christ says, hey homie, good to see you. Packing a bowl right now. What did you think of Nope? Well, Jesus, thanks so much for joining us again, and I'm glad you are smoking along right with us, Jesus, making it even holier. And I even super appreciate the question about Nope. And Jesus, thank you for asking. It's a movie where my opinion has kind of changed a lot since I've seen it. I walked out of Nope feeling like, well, I get it. I get what he was like. It's not that I don't understand the movie. So talked a little bit about yesterday. It is pretty linear, A to B to C. Actually more straightforward than I think his first two movies in terms of what happens with the plot. But I was also thoroughly perplexed by what Jordan Peele was trying to say with a lot of it. And I was a little, initially, I was wowed with the really cool stuff. And there is, as if I assume you've seen it, Jesus. Please let me know if you haven't. And also, I'm very curious to know what you think of it, Jesus, where you'd rank it on the other Jordan Peele list. But I just wasn't sure what all he was trying to convey, especially with the two parallel storylines, what exactly the point was. And then I was genuinely sort of surprised by how kind of sloppy some of the writing seemed. There's a scene, and Jesus, you'll know it, that happens about 2/3 of the way through the movie, where the nature of the antagonist is revealed completely, and it involves a grand opening of a show. I had no idea how or why. Not like I didn't understand, the chronology of events or anything like that, but it just never made sense how that scenario ever came to be. And so much of the plot hinged on it. All that being said, even though there was so much of the movie that was seemed underdeveloped, a little underwritten, I mentioned this yesterday as well. In that same sequence, where what it is that the antagonist of the villain, or the antagonist of the movie really does, that sequence, holy shit, is terrifying. Like that, I don't know, 2 minutes of, I'm trying not to give anything away here, chaos involving people was queasy making. Holy Christ. So I love that. And then the more I think about it, though, the more I actually kind of like it a lot. If for no other reason than I've not really stopped thinking about it since I saw it on Friday. Even if that just means I've been trying to figure out what the fuck some of it meant. Like, what's up with that goddamn shoe? No offense, Jesus. But, why? What's the deal with that shoe? So, I never felt frustrated by it. And anytime I don't feel frustrated and also just like to or think about a movie over and over, I think that would mean I liked it ultimately. Long-winded answer to your great question, Jesus. I think I liked it. Nope. But I can imagine a lot of people not enjoying it. Anyways, Adri G says, and also, I'm not even sure who Adri G is. Maybe a name change, because they're one of our mods, and I don't recognize the name, so I super apologize. Jesus said he loved Nope. Well, I'm glad to hear it, man, and I'm converging. I'm slowly starting to come to your point of view, but it wasn't a out of the theater first reaction was that was amazing. Although there were parts where I was like, that was amazing. The dude has an incredible imagination, and I mean that not as a veiled insult or a slight. It's as a straight up compliment. And it's while the story is pretty and simple in terms of it is not like Us. It is not like Jordan Peele's second movie. It is less metaphor. It's pretty simple plot in this movie. Even with all of that, it does something unexpected and interesting that I had no idea was coming. I don't think I'd seen that concept in sci-fi before, and it is a fun twist. And relays directly into that moment that I found so genuinely, oh my god, fucked up. Woo! Katie B, welcome back. Good to see you again. Thanks for hanging out with us. Jesus says he would rank it as his second favorite behind Us. Wow, this is what we love having Jesus here for, even more so than being the Son of God, for his, totally against the grain movie opinions, and we love him for it. So if I get this correct, Jesus says, fuck the critics, fuck the fans. He goes, Us, Nope, Get Out, which I think that is a total inversion, and it's endearing. I think I would go, oh my god, I think I would flip my 1 and 3 and leave Nope in the middle. I don't know. It's either, I think Get Out is still my favorite. But I need to see Us again, too. As it is his, I think, most, his least conventional. And there's more going on there than I could pick up the first time. And it's got Tim Heidecker in it. And who doesn't love Tim Heidecker? So I need to, that's going to get me doubly down to rewatch Us too, Jesus. So thank you. Let's get this third bag going. Jesus says that he can't stop thinking about it either. Well, I'm glad to know that the Son of God gets movies stuck in his head too. And what a testament to Jordan Peele's acumen that even Jesus is, making time from answering prayers to go check out the multiplex. Now, Jesus, I've always wondered, while we've got you here and we're talking movies, how'd you feel about Bruce Almighty? Were you pissed about it, Jesus? Were you like, this is sacrilege? Or were you delighted at the rest of us at Jim Carrey making funny faces again and delighting audiences. And also, one last question about Bruce Almighty for you, Jesus. Does Morgan Freeman look like your dad? How close is that? I assume got to be somewhat. Jesus says, I get his obsession with it. He mentioned she was his first crush. Ah, okay. And the B plot, Jesus, I also loved and agree with you 100% that it was some of the most tense stuff I've seen in horror movies in a while. I mean, like every time you go to that B plot, it is whoo, ass puckering kind of tight, nerve wracking. That is not even though I think the most horrifying part. It is the part right after the B plot gets resolved, um, uh, where yeah, the other thing that does bad things to people does those bad things to people. Holy shit, that was pretty intense. Um, so Jesus says he lets us know. Unfortunately, his dad does not look like Morgan Freeman. Just a more gray version of him, which makes sense. But I guess also he could become Morgan Freeman if he wished. And Jesus, there is no wrong way to rank Jordan Peele movies. And as myself, somebody who has, many controversial movie choices, somebody who, uh, goes us first in the Jordan Peele oeuvre. Again, it's endearing. And so, oh man, okay. I really do need to watch it again. Uh, when did it come out? 2018? Long time. Gunner says, my wife and I are considering seeing Nope, but having seen a lot of bad reviews, I'm debating if it's worth it. Might just go for the snacks, to be honest. Well, Gunner, it's impossible, I think, to predict somebody's reaction to this movie. Even Jordan Peele's other two movies aren't going to be any real help on whether you're going to like this one or not. There's a reason it's the most sort of critically divided, although there are some utter raves out there. If, however, well, I was going to say that if you just want to go to see a funny movie, it is still very funny. Very funny at parts. Although there are some surprisingly lazy jokes later on that are like, well, I've seen this 100 trillion times, and I kind of thought you were going to do something different with this, but like, I don't know how many times I've seen a man who is obsessed with a singular thing getting punished for his hubris, and a specific kind of person. And there are actually two of those. Both of them are very common targets. But boy, okay. That is enough about Nope for now. I'm so sorry. I've talked about it so much for these past 2 days, but that's the kind of movie it is. Nope. KDB says, what are you smoking? Outer Space over here. I believe this is Tina OG. Not sure who the Tina is in that Tina OG, the eponymous Tina. I'll just go with Tina Belcher, but we can all insert our own Tinas that we want to be the Tina OG. Speaking of, I've been letting this bag sort of cool down. Nine Dar, welcome back, says, hey, Wheats, well, hey yourself. Thanks for joining us. Gunnar, I'm curious, by the way, you said you might just go for the snacks, to be honest. Are you purchasing your snacks at the concessions? Are you a big popcorn fan, or are you sneaking them in? Um, I can't imagine you'd be excited about like paying $9 for Sour Patch Kids, but some people are such huge popcorn fans, though, that uh, they go to the movies just to purchase popcorn. A factoid that I know due to in the era of the windfall of dumb, the like at the zenith of dumb kind of like NFT, Bitcoiny. Oh shit. I've already just 100% forgot what I was. Oh, no, no, now I remember. Meme stocks. Shit, I am high. Meme stocks. AMC, meme stock. They got all that fresh capital, 2 years ago or whatever. And one of the things that they decided to invest with their newfound billions, I'm not sure if the plural, I think maybe just one. This truly bulletproof idea. I'm sure this is gonna, really take off. But AMC said, "Thank you, investors. Now we're gonna take your money and start the popcorn delivery service." Yes, that's right. You know you love AMC's okay popcorn that's stale less often than not. And the best part about it is you get to butter it yourself, even to a level that seems not just unhealthy, but disconcerting. Now that element is of course removed because they're gonna get to butter it for you. So, but yeah, if you like okay popcorn that may or may not have been spat in, and you don't get to control the butter faucet, well, AMC has the solution for you, and it's called popcorn subscription service. I don't remember what the fuck it's called. And I think they're also going to open up mall kiosks because malls are such a big thing, and sell popcorn at the malls. So watch out, Popcornopolis and Dr. Pete's Popcorn Poppers, because AMC is the new daddy of on-demand popcorn, apparently. We'll see if that actually comes into fruition. Nidar says that they are smoking Pandora from Maven Genetics. Well, that sounds great. Thanks for sharing, man. Jesus made a comment that I had missed, which is Jim Carrey can do no wrong except for his choice of spouse, which is of course true. Are they still married? Jenny McCarthy being the anti-vaxxer before anti-vaxxing was popular. Even before it was popular in the sense of the pandemic, it is cool to be post or anti-vax. But she was like the, she's a lot of people's, what do you call it? To welcoming hand or welcoming arm into the kooky world of anti-vax. I mean, she was like on shit in the early aughts, 90s, talking about vaccines and autism. Not to get into too much controversial stuff, but Jenny McCarthy, I don't know what you're doing. I'm not sure if Jim Carrey can do no wrong, because I have seen the number 23. I've seen, oh God, what are some really bad? Well, I think the number 23 is about as bad as Jim Carrey ever got. The Majestic also sucks ass, but I know it has its fans. Anyways, Rai or Riri. Let me know which you prefer, or if I butchered it either way. Thanks for joining us. He's smoking on some true OG. Well, thanks for joining us. Let's do another small little dab, and this one will just be for Gunner, Katie, Nindar, and Riri or Rai. So I'll meet you guys back here. Right, so this dab is for that long list of names that I had already listed, but too high to remember. Thanks for watching. We did it. Not so bad. Starting to get the hang of this. Wow. Okay. Been talking a lot of movies. Let's talk. Well, thank you, Nindar. I appreciate that. But it seems like I finally am not a total chump. Maybe. Uh, well, there we go. Close. Close. Okay. We've been talking a lot of movies. Let's skirt. Let's move elegantly. Well, I guess this is not elegantly. Elegantly would be with some kind of segue or transition. Let's clumsily stumble into some new topic that aren't recently released movies, so we don't spoil everything for everybody. And I think a fun thing to talk about might be video games again. Boy, I've sort of addicted myself to not just Monster Hunter, which is a kind of an annual, whenever a new expansion, something Monster Hunter comes out, I lose 100 hours just of my life. 4 days of that year just evaporate, but that's understandable. This, however, was a full-on affair with a game for like 2 weeks, 2 years ago or so. And then the painful, quick, and almost complete drop-off after doing nothing but it for a couple of weeks. And that is Hard Space Shipbreaker. Hard Space Shipbreaker, which you can find on Steam, or if you have Game Pass, if you're a Microsoft fan, I believe it is free on... or not free, I believe it is on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, You can download it at no extra cost. And it is what I've heard recently, and I'm gonna steal it. I'm not saying I invented it, but I love it so much. It's what one of these new chore core kind of games. I guess the biggest and most recent example being Power Wash Simulator. Of course, there are dozens and dozens of them. Game Developer Simulator, Lawnmower Simulator, Car Mechanic Simulator, Farmer Simulator, blah, 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 blah. So, this one, Hard Space Shipbreaker, is, I guess, kind of one of those, but higher concept and less about, well, I guess, less one of the things like Game Developer Simulator or something more where it's totally about the mechanics. What it is you are in the future sci-fi kind of game. You are a shipbreaker in a in orbit, I guess, or Earth, I think, on some giant space elevator in 0G in a spacesuit. And your job is much like there are humans on planet Earth today who, for probably the lowest paid wages on the planet and the most dangerous of labor, break down huge ocean vessels of all kinds, cruise ships, most often container ships, but all kinds. Break them down in these really disgusting, awful places off the coast somewhere, and sell them for the valuable scrap that is in them. And you are doing that, but instead of breaking down a Carnival cruise line, you're breaking down some bust-ass space freighter in 0G. And it is so much fun. I wouldn't say it's relaxing like any like Power Wash Simulator or Lawn Mowing Simulator, because it can be quite stressful, as you are, I said, floating in space. There's a perpetual time limit. You only have 15 minutes every session, or excuse me, shift, to tear it down as much as you can. And you can die. There's no permadeath. You just get cloned and they charge you some money and you come back. But and there are bukus and bukus of ways to die, which is what makes this game so fun. If you are anything like me and you love destructibility or the ability for environments to be damaged or altered in some way, the best example of this ever is the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 game Red Faction Guerrilla, which you could literally destroy every single object in that game down to its tiniest parts. So every structure in that game could be atomized, basically. And the hard space shipbreaker has some of that, except instead of a whole world of structures, it's just big special vessels in space. But there are all kinds of really cool, interesting layers on top of it. You have a bunch of tools at your disposal. So things that can cut into the sides of ships, you know, a big laser gun that can shoot lasers and cut into the hull to get inside, to get all the good scraps. You have tethers, which you can use to rip the ship apart by tethering things to these big disposal chambers. You're just taking all of these ships down to its nuts and bolts and sending them down these various tubes to get money for it. Using all your tools at your disposal, including those awesome grapples, which you can use to send these things down to these chutes or pull things together, chain them together. It's just a lot of physical, puzzly kind of fun stuff. And it's just fun to work through a thing methodically. And so, in addition to all of those things, there are lots of dangers, like the most fun being the ship may be pressurized, and if you fuck up, if you've ever seen that, if you've ever seen Aliens Resurrection, where, you know, Ripley like shoots a bullet through a glass thing in a space station and everything in that room goes through that hole, kind of like that. But thankfully, everything's not so rigid here, so stuff just starts rushing out until stuff explodes enough that explosive decompressor is taken care of. But it's the idea that you could, you know, not pay attention and cut into a room and all of a sudden have the vacuum of space open up and everything come rushing out. Or if you screw up and you not paying attention to the electrical system, you cut a line and all of a sudden you've fucked up the nuclear reactor and you've got 30 seconds to get the hell out of there before a nuclear reaction happens. It's a lot of fun. If you have any of that inclination of like, oh, I like those kind of games where you can, chore core games, where you basically do a job in a game, I think Hard Space, well, it's not something you could do replicate in real life, unlike many of those others. So it has that going for it. And if you like just the lots of destructibility, being able to fuck shit up, check out Hard Space Shipbreaker. Again, it's on Steam, or if you have Game Pass on Xbox or PC, you can do it there. Anyways, that was a lot of talking. Jesus says, try a blinker, bro. And I'm sorry, Jesus. Thank you for joining us, by the way. Jesus, I called you Jesus. I'm sorry. We had Jesus in earlier, but not Jesus. Literally Jesus. My bad, Jesus. Excuse me. By a blinker, do you mean just a small dab? I've heard people use the term for different things. $9 says $10 a month ain't bad either. Get a pretty decent list of games. Yes, $9. You get a very decent list of games. The $10 a month he's referring to is Game Pass. You can add Game Pass on PC for, I think, just $15 a month in total. And by decent list of games, in addition to its rotating list of third-party things that Microsoft gets deals for that go in and out of the service, much like Netflix or any of the other streaming things, but also just like those other streaming services, its own content, Microsoft's own content, is there forever, including stuff all the way back from the Xbox days, even, I guess. And that's really pretty fucking neat for Game Pass. And, oh, sorry, last point, so high. And being Microsoft, while it hasn't yet paid out a lot, well, with back catalog, but I'll get to that, it hasn't exactly paid off yet. At some point, Game Pass will be an unbelievable value because Microsoft now owns half of the gaming industry, and at some point, theoretically, possibly, maybe, probably, theoretically, it's possible that possibly that they will eventually make something. But we'll see. It's been a while, and I remember when Bethesda was out earlier promising 11 for Starfield. Anyways, Microsoft now owns literally just an unfathomable amount of the gaming industry. Just an unbelievable amount. Activision and fucking Bethesda. They own Call of Duty and Skyrim. And at some point, those definitely Skyrim and maybe even Call of Duty, but I mean Elder Scrolls, not Skyrim specifically. Those are going to only come to Xbox, and those will be, if Microsoft continues to hold their word, just part of Game Pass. Like the fact that everything going forward is included there is incredible. It's like the early days of streaming where everything was just on Netflix and you could feel confident subscribing to Netflix, and it'll be like that for a while because it doesn't look like Sony has any interest in replicating the Game Pass model. They just released their much inferior version, and it's definitely not as good, even if it is pretty much the same price, I guess. Anyways, Nindar mentions that Sea of Thieves on Game Pass is their favorite of all the Game Pass games. A Microsoft game, thanks to one of those acquisitions we were just talking about. And I feel like we were just talking about them the other day. That acquisition being Rare. That's right. Sea of Thieves. It took, Microsoft has a history of buying huge studios. They bought fucking Rare. GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Donkey Kong Country. At the height of their popularity. And then it took them years to get out, grabbed by the fucking ghoulies. And, you know, it was a really sad decline. But I'm so glad to see that Sea of Thieves is now this big, huge thing. I was kind of it's a No Man's Sky-y thing in that it's one of those things that I feel like launched and was with totally anemic in terms of what was there to do, and all of the stuff that had been promised was absent, but has since incorporated all of the things that it originally pledged and more. It's just free updates, which is great to hear, and so cool to hear that Sea of Thieves continues to thrive. I have still never tried it, even if it does sound so much fun. And correct me if I'm wrong, the brief description is it is a more or less exclusively co-op online Xbox game where you and a group of friends are pirates on a ship doing random mischief on the high seas in a largely undirected kind of fashion. Like that's the appeal, is you sort of decide what you want to do and how you want to spend your time. Anyways, thanks for the contribution, Jacob. Welcome, Jacob. What's up? Right back at you. How you doing, man? Mike Meyer says, do you like enchiladas? Who doesn't? The greatest of all the fried Mexican foods. Sorry, chimichangas. It's all about the enchiladas. Blinker is on a vape pen, and you usually continue a vape until it blinks. Oh my god. Well, Nindar, thank you so much. I have the perfect thing to do a blinker with, and that is a thing I'm reviewing right now, and it's a follow-up review to our favorite of all portable vapes, Plug Play. So let's do a blinker of this Plug Play, which is going to get me, oh my god, very extremely high. Here we go. Gonna do it. Oh my god, for those of you who don't know, Plug Play is my favorite vape pen system, pod system, cartridge system, without a doubt. And as I always say in my reviews, man, it is the closest thing to doing dabs that I've ever had in any kind of cartridge or pod. Not even close. And that is what I just did there was orders of magnitude longer than any hit I've ever done with it before. And 2 or 3 hits with this, just normal 2 or 3 second long hits, more than enough to do the job. So, wow. Oh my God. Thank you for the suggestion, Jesus. Plug play. It's good. Look forward to the review in like 3 months. Well, let's say 6 weeks, maybe. Something like that. 9dar says, that a plug play? Those are amazing. Yes, they are. I've actually reviewed them a couple of times. I reviewed them once, loved them so much that I did a rare break format kind of thing where I did a comparison of them, a review, a head-to-head of Plug Play versus Steezy and Plug Play versus PAX Era, the two, at the time, biggest rivals, and I think bigger market share, and found Plug Play to be superior to them both by a wide margin. And I like the other two. I like the other two quite a bit, but I just don't understand the magic here. 9dar, I've had that juice as well. And 9dar, I'm not sure where the term that juice comes from. All I can think of is the game now owned by Microsoft, the original Gears of War, although here's some fun history in a second. There's a character who's very famous in that game, Cole, who goes, look at all that juice. And it became kind of like a meme. It was like a big fluid of stuff in the alternate Earth that you're on. Whatever the planet in Gears of War is called. Fun bit of gaming history. So I'm not sure if that juice is referring to Cole from Gears of War. I feel like it's almost a big enough sort of meme in culture that it could be a name of a weed strain, but it's also weird enough and vague enough that it doesn't make I'm not certain. Anyways, Gears of War, hugely mega hyper popular franchise on the Xbox. The franchise is owned by Microsoft. It was developed, however, by Epic. The first 3 of them, I think, are made by Epic, who had originally a very close relationship with Microsoft and shared the IP and sold it to them ultimately or something. They owned some part of it. This is back when Epic was like a third-party developer, and Epic, if you don't know, is the creators of Fortnite now. So Gears of War came from without Gears of War, there would be no Fortnite today. Almost certainly, we'd all still be playing PUBG. Womp womp. Not that I play either, but you know. Anyways, 9dar says, have you reviewed Airgraft 2? No, I have not. Is that a strain from Plug Play? And Nine Dar says it would be interesting to find out. They do answer on Twitter quite often. Oh, well, maybe I'll have to send them a message, show them one of our hugely gushing reviews, and say, hey guys, hey Mr. Plug Play. I assume that's his last name. It's bad of me to assume it. I know it's to assume that Plug Play is a man. Let's just assume it's a woman. Hey, Ms. Plug Play, is that juice? Did it get its name from the game Gears of War? Which, Miss Plug Play, did you know that the people who made Gears of War went on to create Fortnite? And they got their start with the game Unreal Tournament. Fun. And the name Unreal continues to exist to this day and will probably be the thing that Epic actually makes the most money from and has the most cultural influence is not Fortnite. It is their engine, Unreal 5 now, whatever the most recent one is. There are so many things made on that video game engine which they give away for free if you don't make a lot of money. They give you the license for free to just fuck around with. It's insanity. Epic Games. Last Epic Game fact. I don't know why we're talking about Epic Games. It was a conscious decision by one of the founders of Epic Games to try to make himself one of the rare Western, at that time, Western known video game developers. That guy's name is Cliffy B, or Cliff Bleszinski, designer of Unreal, and I think the original Gears of War. Cliff Bleszinski no longer works for Epic, but there was a time where he was like, even to people who knew video games, nobody knew who made video games, but to that select group of people, they also knew who Cliff Bleszinski was. Cliffy B. He looks like you imagine like the name somebody with a guy like Cliffy B would be. I haven't seen Cliffy B in a while, but in my mind, he's a smash up between Guy Fieri and Jamie Kennedy. Hope you're doing well, Cliffy B. Let's stop talking about Epic. Well, welcome, Eric Nephron. We just did a blinker of Plug Play, which might explain why I'm rambling so much. And let's do a small... Oh, let's get our next bag in. For our friend Eric, welcome. Braxton says... Well, Braxton, thank you for your contribution. Great comment. And probably true. Braxton Howard says most movies will be made 100% in Unreal, probably in the next 15 years. The amount of stuff that's already made in Unreal is unreal. And the rapidity of photorealism that is going on in Unreal, the indistinguishable nature of... They did that very famous Matrix demo they teamed up with back in December. Epic and Warner Brothers to make the big Matrix video game demo weird thing. And that's just a taste, man. It's going to be insane, and soon it will be much cheaper just to make a movie in Unreal than get a bunch of people together in front of cameras. Especially if those tools continue to improve at the same speed they're changing. I think 15 years is not out of the question that a huge percentage of movies released will be made primarily in Unreal or Unity, but probably Unreal. last thing about, okay, no more engine talk. But thank you, Braxton. This bag, sorry, Eric, is for both you and Braxton. Thanks for joining us. It's so crazy that I'm not actually talking about this, but it's so crazy that those things are free and they're so good. And they're like, there are kids who are 9 years old that get to just play with Unity or Epic and make shit and make really cool shit. It's so exciting. It's so exciting, man. If we survive, the there's just a lot of cool stuff to look forward to. A generation of kids that will have access to tools, making things that I can't even begin to dream of. I'm just it's really exciting. But we have to find a way through the next 5 or 6 years, and then, well, I don't know why I drew the line at 5 or 6 years. I have no idea where that came from. There are plenty of things to look forward to in the future. Not to be a bummer, the kids are all right. They've got Epic. They've got Unreal 5 already. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna get us through it all. If not, let's get us in those VR headsets and just live that Wally life. Nindar says, I don't know if I heard you about the Air Graph 2 thing. It's a new pen style that came out a while ago. They were a subscription-based service, but they since took off the $10 fee, but they offer discounts and weed delivery. I have not heard of them. I've not heard of that at all, Nindar. If I can remember to check it out, that sounds cool. I will check it out for sure after this stream. The huge caveat, of course, is remembering to do that. You can always tweet me or email me or something too, as a reminder. But no, I had not heard of it. Thank you for the heads up. Eric says, is your weed shrine usually that close? No, I'm a tinkerer with my desk, Eric. I have a very nice like monitor arm, like 2 monitor arm, and I'm always like rearranging and moving things slightly, and just like I'm never content with how things are arranged. And if you would see my desk, it would I mean, there's so much weird gadgetry here. I have like a this was for blowing my notes, so I have like a crazy ass weird keyboard here. I've got small monitors, things hanging things, switches, cameras, and it's just I'm always moving around. Where did I take this camera from? Right here. So the answer to your question is it was probably right about where it was, but I think my camera has moved. Or the monitor that the camera was on has moved, and that is the change of view. Boy, I understand why that would make people real sick. Like, that was gross. That was not nice, what I did with the camera. Sorry about that. Eric said, there's a Robin Wright movie about digital rights of celebrities being sold. The Congress. Yes, Braxton, I've heard of this movie. The, meta movie where Robin Wright Penn plays a version, not actually herself. I've not actually seen it, but it does sound very, very interesting. And a thing now that I will feel even more compelled to check out next time it pops up on any of the streaming services I have. But yeah, it was always intriguing. If I'm remembering correctly, it is a very high concept-y thing. And of course, the idea of digital rights of celebrities being used is going to be I mean, it's already relevant. It's not even a thing to have to look to the future for. We are already doing it. This is okay. Minor fun conspiracy. Not a conspiracy, just a guess, a prediction. That something that we have all experienced, or something that has been put out by a studio, whether it be a TV show, I don't know, an influencer, a movie, something where a thing was a wholly CG creation, a wholly just digital, either recreation of a person, creation of a person, something to that effect that we have never been told or nor know about, and will be like revealed in a big shocking way, like maybe Nvidia's press conference at some point will be like, hey guys, did you remember in what was Doctor Strange that, well, BD Wong was never actually in the movie. Like, surprise, he was shooting another movie the entire time, and his entire thing is he was just a digital creation. I think we're gonna have a gimmick drop like that on us at some point, and it will be not like, well, of course, it will be a genuine surprise, like. And I don't know if it'll be stealth marketing, something like that, or I don't know what, but things are too good already, and even individuals can make so compelling digital fakes, digital replicas, at least in small scales, that somebody can't have not tried it. Like, and I know my prediction is too vague. It doesn't really have anything to test, but like, I don't, yeah. But my incredibly vague, hard to word prediction that will let me get off is that within the next 5 years, something we already know about or that will exist, that everybody will assume is a real human being, will be revealed many months or years later to be a total digital creation. And it won't be like a small cameo thing. It'll be a huge, it could be some like a total fabrication of a person. Like Disney could have made up the new star for one of their many new Marvel shows starring children. Like, they could just create one. And make everybody sign NDAs, and then go, surprise, look. That sounds kind of nefarious, but somebody's got to be tempted to do it. All right, enough of that. Eric says he rewatched The Death of Stalin Saturday, and he loved it again. Well, I'm glad you checked it out again. One of the finest comedies of all time. I am now halfway through the final season of Veep, the show from the creator of The Death of Stalin, the director of The Death of Stalin. Guy also created Veep. Veep still, I think, has some of the most, if you like your comedies bitter, mean-spirited, and nasty, because it is never not, and not even like, well, there's some kind of heartwarming thing underneath, and not even like in the no hugs, no lessons Seinfeld-y way, where it's like, well, everybody's just kind of a jerk. Veep is just as caustic as hydrochloric acid. Every character is worst version of that character. Oh, that's a terrible way to phrase it, but so it is unbelievably dark, just like the death of Stalin. But if you enjoy that, just really, really, it feels fair to say mean-spirited comedy. Not that because like the jokes are directed at people, but everybody is just so utterly contemptible that there is nothing. Boy, I'm so high. Check out Veep. And it's a show that isn't afraid to rest on its title. It doesn't need to feel constrained by the title Veep, as those last seasons go. Some wonderful, wonderful places. The cast, man, the cast of Veep, the ensemble cast, which is a show that adds maybe one or even two new players every season, and unlike every other big comedy, ensemble comedy, the new people never feel unwelcome or crowded out by the original people. They are always incredibly additive. Sometimes routinely, the people who come in steal the scenes from the people who have been there from the very beginning, even though they are the funniest cast maybe in the history of TV. Anyways, that's enough Beat talk. Check it out. Death of Stalin. Check it out. $9 says, I'm also pretty bad with the memory weed and ADHD. Almost zero short-term memory. That does sound like a pretty awful combination. Usually it takes a good amount of weed to get me as forgetful as I am now, because I am insanely high. We've got our fourth and final bag here. I've got to get through it. Braxton says Corridor Crew made an AI influencer that wrote its own videos and got a lot of traction with it. A lot for what it was. I have not heard of that, but yes, there are. I mean, obviously, it sounds cool. I'll have to check out Corridor Crew. The amount of combinations you can now do with digital technologies to create something 100% artificial on every dimension. With what is it, GPR3, the text-based thing, which is just as mind-boggling as the DALL-E. Like the text generation one is undersold, like is as incredible as the much more recent, truly mind-boggling as well, DALL-E image generation from text things. If you guys haven't seen these things, need to spend some time looking at them. But now that we have all of this stuff in which you can easily generate complex images and complex strings of text, people are going to start combining them in very interesting ways. And I have no idea if you'll ever be able to make those, what you could do to take those very disjointed data sets and scramble them up into something even more three-dimensional. I don't know. It's done even now saying it out loud, but my God, the amount of shit that has happened in AI research in 2 years is as much as the probably 10 before it. Like we are very much like early 90s internet kind of putting on the accelerants, just explosive growth kind of stuff. It is almost alarming. And yes, Braxton says the one with the quarter won't fool anyone, which is, I don't think, nobody is also trying to, well, other than my prediction, but there are a lot of total digital creations, chatbots. I assume people even make, there are probably chatbots that use bodies, some kind of body that exist on Twitch and shit. But everybody knows ahead of time that those are some kind of bot. But it takes more effort than that to do something convincing. For now, yeah, Braxton Howard, it's gonna be so interesting. I mean, there are a lot of very smart people who say that predict that countermeasures will be pretty quick to follow, that whatever blueprints that these things use will be pretty easy to trace. I don't necessarily believe that. I'm almost surprised at that it hasn't happened more seriously already. And especially with the desire for people to have information that just confirms their biases and beliefs, like a video of Joe Biden shaking hands with the president of the Sierra Club and saying, yes, let's keep these gas prices above $5. Blah, ha, 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 ha. Would be like the most dangerous part of, like, the reason it's so surprising we have not seen it take off yet. I find it surprising because there's an appetite for it, which is the scariest part. Like, people want that to be true. And they don't want to be swindled. They don't want to like it to be a digital creation, but they are so hungry for things that, and I'm not picking on any particular group, and I'm sorry I use such a politically charged example, but like, I'm just so surprised we haven't seen more people try to exploit deepfakes, although we have on the margin for sure. It definitely happens. But in a more serious way, in a more concerted, more organized effort. And I don't know why, because I think there is a market for good deepfakes stuff of people's enemies doing bad things. Anyways, just a matter of time. Certainly. Certainly. All right. Vital bag. Done. Before I sign off here, sorry, my voice is getting a little raw. Let's do one more quasi blinker here. Thank you for teaching us that correct usage of that term. What a fun usage, by the way, and makes total sense. I forgot who told me. Braxton, thanks again for all of your excellent contributions, man. It's been fun chatting with you. Not at all, dude. Not at all. If you've ever checked out any of our streams, we very often get into the topic of computer science or AI. It's an old hobby horse of ours here on Wheats. It's an endlessly fascinating, endlessly rich topic to explore. And with that, guys, I'm gonna go take a nap, I think. Wow. It's been a lot of fun hanging out. I will not be back tomorrow for sure, but I will certainly be back on Thursday after our video review premieres, and I hope we can see some of you folks. Then I'll be live streaming after that premiere. Until then, stay high. It's been fun hanging out.